This thing. We've just had a fantastic live stream for TrampCast 79, the golden stream, because the atomic number 79 is gold in the periodic table. It's the atomic weight of gold. Yeah. Here we go, folks. This, though, is a TrampCast Hangout. This is the less formal of what we do. We've just taken, I don't know, half an hour or there, plus or minus. There's a little break in between. We've stopped the TrampCast proper, and now we're going to do a TrampCast Hangout. Hello, hello. It did show one person here, then it went down to 0. That's fun. Nobody's talking to me in chat yet. I have with me the star of the show. Okay, here we go. We got, I'm going to have to turn the brightness up a little bit. I couldn't actually read the name of the, Okay, Oscar, super enriched. Hello, my friend. Big kiss to her ladyship. She is just down here, if I may. There we go. I've taken her off. She was tied to the tree before because there was people walking past and everything. But because she can't move fast, and because there are very few people going to be walking past or going anywhere this time of night, and if you just choose to chase after everybody, I shouldn't actually have a problem catching her. I have broken the rules and taken her off her lead. Haven't I, baby? Can I get a cuddle here? Come on. I got treats. I do. I have treats. I do. Daddy's got treats. Can we get treats? I got a treat here, look. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, people are starting to join us. People coming on in. Here's Tina with a treat. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. We'll just focus on the actual star of the show for a little while we wait for more people to arrive. Thumbs up in, I was going to say thumbs up in chat. Thumbs up, folks, if you wouldn't mind. You might even consider sharing this out there. If you've got a Twitter account or a, I don't know where else I don't know where you people share things, Facebook or whatever. You might consider just saying, hey, there's this tramp and he's quite entertaining and he's got a lovely little lady of a dog. Yeah, babe. Do you want the rest? Oh, I'll give that to you. Oh, you're going to fight me for it. Fight me. Go on. Fight. I haven't even got hold of it properly. Go on. Fight me. Bite me. Fight me. Go on. You're okay, babe. You're not going to hurt me. You're not going to hurt your daddy. There you go. That's a good girl. That's better. That's exercise and teaching it to be a doggy dog. Go on. Yeah. Go on. You're not going to hurt me. It's okay. Bite away. Go on. Go on, big girl. Go on. Yes, a good girl. There we go. And that's the last bit. She's very gentle, folks. She never bites. Well, she did once, but she learnt her lesson really quickly. I was very angry. She was a pup and she was overexcited. Well, she was young, not a pup, that's not the right word. She was about a year old, and little Akira that we used to live with was very bitey, very snappy. And Tina had a go at being very snappy. Caught my finger or thumb, drew blood, and a quick tap on the head, and she's never done that again. Any further news from the vet visit? No, there's no improvement at this stage, and I've still got some medication left, but it's quite clear there's not going to be any more. There's not going to be any improvement. It's not. I still go back to my personal belief that it's neurological. Things are failing. Court paper shit. I haven't bothered with court papers. I haven't looked at them. I haven't read them. Court paper shit. I would have to read them to know what they said, and I haven't read them. One day somebody might turn up. Here's what's going to happen. let's say that the sentence is a month in jail. I don't know, I haven't read it. But let's give her, for instance, a month in jail. The police will ring me to ask where I am and what country I'm in. I'll say, I'm in England, obviously. And they'll say, oh, you ought to be over, and I'll say, well, that's down to you guys. They rang me to ask me what country I was in and where I was and where they could find me. They had my fucking address when they had the court case. I don't feel obligated to help them out in doing bad things to me. If, despite the fact that them having my exact location, if they can't find me, I mean, they couldn't find me in order to give me the paperwork to say the court case was happening. So I don't feel a requirement to facilitate whatever follow-up action they might take. Got no jurisdiction over you either. We would disagree on that, my friend. We've had that discussion. It's not an envelope that they're going to send, and if they do, it's going to be delivered by a policeman. I can't just write on it, not at this address, when the cop has handed it to me. They're not going to mail it. It's been handed to me by a policeman, and I'd gone to the court and picked up papers. There's no... I admire your free man of the land, sovereign citizen stance. I just don't believe it's practical and that it works. Anyone who tries that shit in court ends up getting locked up. Thought of fighting funds to court action. I had a friend offer to cover me for some fucking action against the police when they tried to kill me on the main road here. They said, I'll get my lawyer on it. He's a good lad, he's a good friend. They asked him, he said, oh no, not touching that shit. We don't go against the Guardia Civil around here. You'll have to go out of town into a specialist lawyer. You do not mess with the Guardia Civil. Even the lawyers won't go against them. What does that tell you? Spanish people live in fear of their various police forces. They hope to just get through life by not actually having any involvement with them. They just hope it won't happen to them. Back the blue until it happens to you. We've all heard the phrase, but the Spanish live it, that's their life. They're frightened of their police force because they don't obey any rules. There's no comeback, there's no... Yeah. The Spanish just put their heads down and hope it doesn't happen to them. But when it does, they're fucked. Back the blue until it happens to you. Oh wow, that took a leap. 11 in the house. Thumbs up if you would, folks. If you're new here and you need like an introductory sentence or three to understand what's happening, why spend Friday night with a tramp? Not that kind of tramp, this kind of tramp. A homeless man, a tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some might say a bum. Someone who sleeps rough or sleeps on the streets, or in my case, in a field. That kind of tramp. If you were looking for a different kind of tramp, short skirt, fishnet stockings, suspenders, basque, that's not me. I mean, look at me. I have wore the fishnet stockings in the past, and the mini skirt. Tina, shush shush. I have done that, but it was a pub crawl, you know what I mean? It was a charity thing. I don't think there are any pictures. It was pre-internet. Maybe one day. Maybe we'll do it again one day, folks. Not that kind of tramp. And look, the numbers drop as soon as people leave all disappointed. I'm not that kind of tramp. We just dropped from 11 or 12 down to 8 as soon as I said not that kind of tramp. Seriously, I've no jurisdiction because they're an administrative court, and you say, do you see a living man in front of you, Judge? How would you like to proceed? And touch his desk, bench, and that put the judge in. This sounds like hocus pocus. It's like spin around 3 times, rub your left buttock with your right hand while hopping on your right leg with your trouser leg rolled up. You're in a country, you're under their jurisdiction. You have the rights and privileges of the people that live there, but you have the same obligations as the people that live there. You are benefiting from their street lights, from their roads, from their bins. You're taking advantage of the systems they've put in place, so you're putting yourself under the systems they have in place. I'm not sure why you free men of the land types don't get that. You can always argue, oh, I never agreed to it. I was born in Britain, I didn't agree to be under the king or the queen. It's just always been that way. Hobo, Great Depression, it's someone who walks around or travels. Yeah, someone who travels for work. Like to tramp was to walk. To tramp was a verb, which got applied as a noun to the person who did it. Same thing, hobo, someone who travelled looking for work, etc. And I know I don't actually travel. Homeward bound, hobo. Okay. Hence the first 2 letters of each word. That's interesting. I don't think I knew that one. I don't think I'd heard that before. I'm not sure whether that's... I don't know whether that's like legitimate original or whether that's like a backronym where you come up with something after the event to make it fit. You've got the word you want and then you go looking for things to make it fit. Like SHIELD in Marvel. Strategic Homeland something defense, whatever. They wanted it to be SHIELD and then they went just looking for words that would fit. The courts are Roman. Like UK since 1972. Ask to see or ZC. His bond, his oath. He's under him. Say to him, you're just in rem, under the imperial crown. There's an annual hobo convention in the States. Okay. They're in the wrong jurisdiction. But if you're in that jurisdiction, you're under that jurisdiction. You don't get to pick and choose. As far as I understand it, all of you free men of the land and sovereign citizens and whatever other variations on a theme they are, the guy who claims it's all just naval courts and I never signed up, and you get to court and you get locked up. It doesn't work. It's not real. Now you might be like correct, but there's like 2,000 years of history that says, fuck you, the king can lock you up. You're not going to unravel 2,000 years of history, or 1,000 years, or 500 years, or even 200 years. Laws that are 200 years old and that have been on the books and been honoured and been implemented are not suddenly going to be overturned. Why all the fireworks behind you? Spain. There's just always fireworks. It's always after midnight. Often it's a football match or something, but I've got no clue today. I got no knowledge of an event. You could ask Google, why fireworks in Torrevieja tonight? And if there's an actual cause. The last time I did it, it was San Juan, which was June the 23rd. Basically, it's their Midsummer's Eve. And it's St. John, San Juan is St. John the Baptist. And they have a celebration, they light fires, they jump through the flames or run through the ashes. And it's almost like a New Year thing. It's that half of the year is behind us. Let's forget all that and let's have a new start, a fresh start. It's like their version of New Year's Eve. But today, I got no clue. Oh, you can't see. Can you see these behind me? I brought a little string of lights over. One of my strings of lights is broken. The solar panel and battery pack has fallen off the rest. One of my strings of lights only lasts about 2 hours after sundown, so that's gone out already. This has lost half of its power already, but this is the main light in my bedroom inside the tent most of the night. I think I put it out early enough today. I think it should be all right, but it's a little bit iffy, isn't it? It's not quite. It's not quite. Hello, you. You're my little doggy darling. All I can tell you is that Spain love their fireworks. Tina hates their fireworks, and I have to cuddle and kiss my little darling to keep her. Mike, you are a posh tramp. That was said by Ivan. Good music. Yeah, Ivan. The other guy's Ivar. Thomas will tell you about him. A posh tramp. I don't know about posh. I'm very working class, very down to earth. Common, really. Common as muck in most ways. You probably just mean educated. I'm knowledgeable. I know things. I know things. I mention all this so you can have informed choices. I appreciate the input. I just don't believe it works. Just declaring yourself to be outside of the jurisdiction of the country you're in. I landed at the airport, I showed them my passport, I'm submitting to their system. And likewise, anyone who comes to Britain should also be submitting to ours, which is part of the problem we have with our cultural enrichment friends at the moment. Even though the name of their religion means submit or surrender, submit's a better translation, I'm told. They don't. They don't submit and surrender to the authority around them. Not going to get too involved in this today. This isn't this is a TrampCast Hangout, not a political rally. All fancy lights and up to date stuff. I mean, I'm very lucky that I discovered Karen, or that Karen discovered me. I am so fortunate. Really, it's Karen's husband who discovered me. He was subscriber number, I think 34, 35, something like that. I think he told me first time around. Really early subscriber. And he told Karen about me, and she was here in Spain, and he was in the UK at the time I did TrampCast 001. And he said, hey, that guy that we've talked about, he's going to go live. He's going to do his first live stream. Go and talk with him. You know, go and say hello. And she did. And so much of what has gone right in my life since then is down to Karen and her, not just Karen, but Karen and her family. Karen, her husband, her daughter, her mother. So much. The nice things I have, the lantern, the phone, this particular phone. Two other ladies got me a phone before this, but I live in a field, nothing lasts forever. You drop things, you get broken, there's a lot of dust and soil and crap blowing around. Things like USB ports get clogged and get jammed. I was poking around one day trying to clear it out, and I heard a snap, and I broke the USB port. The phone had 20% of power. It wasn't going to last long. I'd had it 18 months, so thank you to Anita and Tina that bought it for me. I can never thank them enough. That got me online, and once I was online, I'd had this idea for ages of Delta Mike as a character, maybe? It's not quite the right word. Pseudonym, nom de plume, feather name, nom de plume. Um, alias, I guess, would be the better English word. I'd had the idea, you see, right back when I talked earlier about how I spent 5 months with nothing after the floods took out all my devices and most of my belongings. What would I do if I had €5? What would my priorities be? Imagine you've got no money, you're in a field. What are you going to do with €5? Well, it's going to be bread. It's going to be chocolate sandwich spread or pate or mortadella. It's going to be something, bread, mayonnaise, mortadella. That's roughly €5. What are you going to do if you had €10? And I played what I called wish lists, wish listingtons. I actually called it. I infantilized the name a little bit. You're going to play wish lists, wish listingtons. What would you do if you had €5? Well, if you had €10, you're going to get that same €5 worth that you just mentioned, and then more. And if you had €20, and if you had €50, oh, heaven forbid, either someone gives you 50 or you manage to, someone gives you 100, and you manage to save up 100. What are you going to do? That's life-changing money. What are you going to get next? And I had all of these lists. I didn't have pen and paper. And this shit would mull around in my head over and over and over and over again. Until I did get a pen and paper one day. I found like a notepad lying in the street. Someone's receipt book. But there's pen and paper. And I could write on the back of the pages. And then my mind could calm down. Once you've written it down and you've exhausted every option, you don't have to keep thinking it, remembering it, the next day, you don't have to keep doing that. You write it all down. And anything I want to add? What else could I do? Okay, if 50 is not enough, what about 100? If 100 is not enough, what about 150 or 200? And you make, it's on paper. It's solidified. It's incarnate. It's material in front of you. You don't have to keep remembering it and mulling it. You can stop going fucking barmy and start talking to Orion. Hello, folks. Oh, look at that. It's a yawn, and I haven't started my coffee yet. What is your aims by declaring yourself to the world? To document things, so that when in a year or two's time, when I get back to real life, I'm gonna write a fucking book and publish a documentary. Documenting is one aim. Putting myself out there so that others can see me is a cry for help. I know I'm not Bear Grylls. I know that I'm not capable of surviving out on my own. I'm not even good as a homeless. I don't know how to be homeless. I don't. Joby takes off on his bike that he's got now and goes and sets up camp one night and goes off on his Camino pilgrimage, long walk, whatever you want to call it. Goes and does it, and each night he's in a different place. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to spot where to set up a tent. I dropped so fucking lucky by just coming here. And then these people trying to get me moved, which accidentally let me knew that I was on private land, not public. Which accidentally let me knew that the police couldn't touch me, shouldn't be able to touch me. They did. They touched me many times with many big sticks, but story for another day, folks. My aim is to document and to ask for help. I am but an e-beggar. I'm not a survivalist. I'm not an off-grid living expert. I've learnt things on the journey, a lot along the way. It's a glorified appeal for help. If once a year you could chuck me a fiver or a tenner, if I can entertain you, entertain's not the right word. It might be. You're here on a fucking Friday night. I mean, where else are you going to be? I mean, you could have been down the pub, but you're not. You're here. If I can, I guess entertain's not the right word. But if we can just sit and chat, if I can fill your life with some hope, show you that no matter how bad things are, there are people worse off. And that's not always me. Sometimes I'll talk about how someone else is worse off. The lady and gent I talked about the last couple of nights. Oh, I forgot to turn that off. Sorry. The lady who was forced to get out of her deathbed to go and pick up a prescription and go to town to get her meds, and whose legs snapped while she was in town. There are people worse off than you guys. No matter how bad you think shit is. You might be having an argument with a wife. You might be in the middle of a divorce. You might be whatever. There's a guy living in a fucking field with mice crawling on his bed last night. There's a lady forced to get off her deathbed to go get her meds, whose legs snapped while she was out. And she got home that night and never got out of bed again. There are people worse off than me. You know, I mean, I cried last night talking about that, and that was the second time I've talked about it. There are people worse off than whatever crap you think you've got going on in life. There are other people worse off. Not me, others. If I can bring that to the fore, to top of mind for you, bring that, light that fact up for you, and alleviate some of your concerns about your own life. Realize that it's not that fucking bad. Could be worse. You could be living in a field. Could be worse. You could be on your deathbed. Could be worse. You could be forced to get off your fucking deathbed to go and pick up your meds. And while you're out, your legs snap, both of them. I guess, if I was to summarise, that's what I hope this channel does. We have our light-hearted moments, we have our laughs, we have our discussions. I am on the grift a little bit, looking for donations. Not all the time. I haven't put the link in chat today. I haven't even got chat up. I haven't 2 streams today, and I haven't put the link for donations. It is in the description, because it's always in the description, and that might have been what the bump was before with the. No, I don't think it was. Oh, that might have been an email from the looks of things. So I'm not always on the grift looking for money, but you know, if you guys that are regulars could contribute once a year, a $5 here, a $10 there, whatever, it'd help. And that's documenting for me for later, sharing my story, trying to get everyone to see that Santander Bank are a bunch of wankers and that one day I'm coming for them, and asking for help. For me, and of course recently for my dog. If I was to summarise what the channel's about, it's about that. There's the hope, there's a lot of people say, oh, you're so inspirational. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just a bloke struggling against circumstance, coping as best I can, and as best I can is to reach out and say, I need help. I'm not Bear Grylls. I'm not Sean Kelly, Corporal's Corner. I'm not a survivalist. I'm not an independent living off grid. There was a lady a while ago said, oh, you must be saving so much money. And I'm like, what do you mean saving money? Well, you've got money coming in, but you're not spending any. Tina, come I tell you, come here. Hey, tranquilo. Tranquilo. Her assumption was that I had some kind of benefits coming in either from the UK or Spain, that I'd got money coming in and nothing going out. And I'm like, you're living in a fucking dream world. Who's giving me money? No government's giving me money. I'm not. It's not like I'm saving money hand over fist. I'm struggling to get by. And every now and again, I need a new tent. Every now and again, I need a new sack of dog food for Tina. Tina! I don't think there's anyone there, darling. And if there is, they're staying away from us because they don't want to smack. It's okay. Tina's okay. Tina's okay. Oi. It's okay. Thank you for the warning. I got it. Daddy's got it. I'm on guard. Thank you. We're all good. Todo bien. Okay? Cámate. Tranquilo. Chica buena. My good girl. My good. Thank you. Gracias. Muchas gracias. So yeah, that's what the channel's about. I came to see if you'd made any progress because it's cool when you do. Cool when you do. Progress? Progress what way? I am literally in a holding pattern, just trying to survive week by week, day by day. There's very little chance of progress at the minute. I don't know what progress would look like. For me, not being dead at the end of this week and not being dead at the end of next week, not being dead in a month's time, that's progress. There was a time that I suspected that wouldn't happen. Now I'm a little bit more positive that I can get through week by week. Now that I know the limitations of the police's powers, now I know when they've overstepped in the past and some of the things they've done were wrong. Not sure I'll ever be able to get anything done about the fact that they did it wrong. Certainly based upon my public defender that time, who negotiated a settlement before she'd even spoken to me. And when I said the arrest was illegal, she just said that's not what they said. Fucking idiocracy. You gotta watch that film if you don't get the reference. You could even just type in, go to YouTube and type in idiocracy. So like idiot and bureaucracy, portmanteau together, idiocracy. And type in, that's not what he said. Or that's not what the other guy said. That'll get you a clip. Court case, guy's got a lawyer, and the defender just has never won a case and just believes whatever the prosecution lawyer says. That was my public defender. The arrest was illegal, I was on private land. That's not what they say. They say you were camping illegally. Not camping. Camping has a definition. Camping is a leisure activity. I'm doing survival. Survival's not camping. And I'm on private land where the police had no authority to arrest me for not showing my ID. At the beck and call of a council fucking worker. It's not like the police even wanted my ID. It was a council fucking worker. We're not going to go there. Shit's happened. It was wrong. I doubt I'll ever get anywhere contesting the fact that shit was wrong. PR your channel by saying no adverts guaranteed. I can't guarantee that. YouTube are in charge of adverts. I'm not monetized, so I don't get the benefit of any adverts. I'm also an edge case that most advertisers probably wouldn't want to associate with. Except maybe EcoFlow or Bluetti. If we keep trying. I could do a video. I haven't done a proper review, like a long-term review of the EcoFlow. I could do a review of the EcoFlow, and there's an option within the YouTube Studio app to notify EcoFlow and see if they want to promote my video. Doesn't mean they'll automatically like start sponsoring me or throwing money at me. But if I did a good video, they may just push it out there. Then it might bring me to their attention, and I might get consideration in the future. Me being pushed out by EcoFlow might bring me attention from Bluetti or Jackery or All Powers or I can't remember the name of the other biggie that I was wanting to say. But it might, me being pushed out by EcoFlow I might then start getting offers from these other companies who want to compete. Oh, you reviewed their one, here's our one. Ours is bigger and better and has more storage, and maybe that. But other than that, most people are not wanting to advertise with a tramp, I wouldn't imagine. I could stop using that word. I like it. I've always said it's a little bit performative. It's a little bit, you know what I mean? Sorry, I can't remember who said earlier, you're a very posh tramp. Because tramp, it's a word. I'm sat here with a phone and a tablet and a fly swatter and a lantern. I've got a gas bottle and a gas ring. I've got a solar powered light just there. I've got my solar powered Christmas tree light kind of things here. I've got a slow cooker over there, a cool box and a solar panel and an eco. You know what I mean? I'm at the stage you would call glamping. If it wasn't for the state of the actual tent, because me and dog, you know, me and dog. 2 sets of hair clippers and beard trimmers, electric. TV, come on, I got a fucking television. I haven't got an antenna, but I could copy something on it with a pen drive. I could, guys. Oh no, I'd get in trouble. We'd have to find something copyright free. I could set a TV up on this table and we could sit here and chat and watch TV together. Maybe play some copyright free music or something on the TV and sit here one Friday or Saturday night. And just for a laugh, I picked the TV up before I got the EcoFlow because I knew it was on its way. It was by a bin and I thought it looks perfect. It's in such good condition, it must work. So I picked it up and brought it here. The EcoFlow arrived a few days later. We powered it up. Joby was here. We powered it up. It worked. And I've used it. That was one of the 3 times I've ever turned it on. I have it just to say that I have it. Tramp in a field with a television set. I can download whatever I want from the internet and set it to play on the TV. It would have to be copyright free for us to sit here in front of it and discuss it or talk about it or whatever. Which is why I think something like some kind of copyright free music or something is better than maybe a film or I don't know. We could sit here and watch me. I want to do a review of some of my earlier videos. Maybe? Who knows? These are all just, I'm spitballing ideas. In a week, less than a week, 6 days, will be 3 years since I was made homeless. Here's a thought. The lady that I stayed with 3 years ago that threw me out in the end has still got some of my stuff. Maybe. I don't know for sure she's still got it, but I left things there. Maybe we could go and get them. If I've got room in the tent. I could sort through them, throw away what I don't want or need. So like there's an electric kettle. That's never going to work with this EcoFlow. So I could throw that away. Toaster. coffee. I've got a coffee maker, a dripper, filter coffee maker. If these things are still there and still at her house, I've got a computer. Little not Samsung, a little Intel NUC. It's like 5 inches square, 5 inches, 13 centimeters square, and about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inch deep. It's a computer, and I've got a TV. It will hook on, the computer will hook to the TV with the right cable, and I think the right cable's there. That'd be one problem solved, wouldn't it? I'd struggle to maintain enough power to use it for any decent length of time. I wonder if she has kept hold of anything, and I'm not sure she would, but if she has, maybe I can approach her and say, can I have my stuff? Thank you. Three years, folks, 3-year anniversary, 3rd anniversary. Have you noticed price increases in Spain? Fucking hell. Did I ever? When the Ukraine war kicked off, a litre of sunflower oil went from €1 to 2.5, almost 3. It came back down again a little bit after, but probably not as much as you think. Eggs more than doubled. Probably came down off carrots. Carrots went crazy. Carrots went from €1 per kilogram up to almost €1 for half a kilogram, and then dropped down somewhat, but I don't know how far. Coffee, cheap supermarket powdered instant coffee was $2.50 one week. Me and Joby went in the next week, $3.20. That was a big jump for a week. Came back down slightly, down to like $2.90 or $3 a few weeks later. I assume because no fucker was buying it. Did I just lose brightness? What happened there? I think I knocked the, there. I knocked the little sensor. Beer was $2.56 for a 12-pack. I know. You're amazed. That's 2 cans back home, isn't it? Or half a pint down the pub. 12 beers. This is why I know I take the piss a little bit, folks. I am two-handed drinking at the minute. I've got coffee, but I've got beer as well. Let me just wave at my neighbours. I have no idea whether they see me, whether they ignore me, whether they hate me. But I wave at everyone and give them a smile, because I'm a nice guy like that. Beer, $2.56 is now $3.80 for a 12-pack in Mercadona. He charges a $5 here at the Chinese Bazaar, and it's the only place I can go. So you cut down, you have less of them, you have them less frequently. But I do like to have something to wet the throat while talking to you. For what did we do before? I started at 6:30 and I've had half an hour off halfway along. Is that 12:30? It is. I think. Where's my little where's my oh, I've lost it. That's interesting. Have I put it in my pocket without thinking? So I've been going 6 hours minus a half-hour break. And no, it's not in that pocket. That's going to be interesting. Safety pins there if I need to poke holes in the microphone again. Where is... Oh. I've done something stupid, folks. I've put something in a non-standard place, which I hate. Everything has a place, and everything in its place, and then you never lose shit. The moment you put something down in a non-standard place, you've lost it. Fortunately, there's a second lens somewhere, and actually I found a third the other day from a different set of glasses in the past. It'll turn up probably. It has to be here or hereabouts, doesn't it? Who knows? I don't. Thumbs up, folks. Come on. We got 18 people in the house and only 8 thumbs ups. Come on. Work with me. I'm a tramp in a field. Come on. Here we go. Have you noticed price increase? Okay. Recently on news about Brits boycotting Spain for Greece, Malta, etc. Italy, we get inflated prices. What's your view? The big thing with people boycotting Spain wasn't so much inflated prices, was the attitude last summer. There was there was a little bit of an anti-tourism sentiment in some places. Now, Torrevieja is not that kind of tourism. It's not Ibiza, it's not nightclubs, it's not that. This is middle-aged and older people owning their own holiday homes and coming out and staying here however many days they're allowed per year because of this silly 90 days out of every 180. This isn't that kind of place. But places like Barcelona, Mallorca, and Mallorca, I want to say Mallorca. You see, the double L is a year, and the J is a year half the time. Mallorca and Majorca. The water in Majorca don't taste like what it water. Yeah. What was that? Was that Heineken? I think it was a Heineken. By Jove, I think she's got it. Anyway, sidetrack. I don't think prices, certainly not grocery prices, I don't think those are the influence that affect tourism to Spain. The anti-tourist sentiment. But now you look at the places this year that had the anti-tourist sentiment last year, now they're begging for everyone to come back, Brits in particular from what I can see, but Mallorca with a double L, that place, 40% down on hotel bookings and holidays and all-inclusive resorts and things. 40%. Basically, it's halved. So yeah, I think that's more that than, and also Airbnb has kind of been banned. You have to the landlord has to register it with the authorities to make sure he's paying he gets a license and pays taxes and things on the income. And they've banned hundreds of thousands of people that were running Airbnbs, which is going to have an impact. Less beds available, basically. Those from what I've seen. Maybe getting your passport as a step forward. I mean, it's an expense. I've said before, yeah, I do have a passport. It's just water damaged. Now, who cares? If I'm trying to leave Spain, does Spain care that my passport's water damaged? When I arrive in Britain, they might care because I'm trying to enter the country with what looks like it might be a forged or a fake passport. But I'm willing to biometrics, answer questions. You know what I mean? After what I've put up with over here, I'm willing to prove that I'm me over there. So they might have a problem with it. The Spanish shouldn't care. I wouldn't have thought. There's a guy who's here illegally who's trying to leave the country. Oh, okay. Let him go. Why stop him? Why keep him? He wants to go. In America, they'd give me $1,000 and pay for the flight. I mean, it's fucking let him go. So yeah, getting the passport would be a thing. Logistics, how do I do it? From in the field. Without an address. Is it worth doing? What if I do it and never get to actually leave the country, and then I've spent money on a passport I don't use? I don't know. We have a homeless guy living in our village, says Karen. He's the only homeless in the village. Is he gay? Why do they not just deport you? My understanding is they haven't deported any Brits since Brexit. Very, very few. Probably only serious criminals who get deported back to Britain and spend the remainder of their sentence in a British prison. Or maybe someone who was in prison for a serious charge at the end of his time, and they're like, yeah, you have him back, we don't want him. The El Jefe, the head of the Policia Local, walked around the field spending 2 hours trying to find a way to get rid of me. There was talk of immigration and all of that. They did nothing. I wouldn't object to being deported, except I'm fairly sure that when they deport you, you don't get to take your belongings. Or your dog. I have a doggy. What happens to her if I get deported? They're not going to be arranging a separate fucking ticket for the doggy. So yeah, I mean, if you get deported, it's embarrassing once you get back to Britain. You're in the hands of the British government. You don't just get off the plane and go home. You're in the hands of the British government, and they're telling you how you're an embarrassment to the country and you shouldn't have done this, that or the other. It's not a bed of roses even if you do get deported. But yeah, I also, if I was them, I would have deported me by now. Absolutely I would. The same as in Britain, there's a whole bunch of people that, you know, similarly, I would have deported. So I'm not being two-faced about this. I'm not saying, oh, no, don't deport me because skin colour or whatever. No, if I was them, I would have deported me. No ifs or buts. I absolutely would have. I make no bones about that. I would have. It would have been horrendous. I don't know how we would have figured this out. Maybe a friend could look after her for a week until we get paperwork and injections and everything in place, and then if I can get back to Britain, get my money and then send money through for the, you know, for the transport of her ladyship. Maybe, possibly. But there's no guarantee. They might just take her off to the kennels and, to be honest, if she went to the kennels in the state she's in with the back legs not working, she might never leave the kennels. There's a thought. It's not a good thought. Oh, guys, I had to bring a cushion out of the tent to put on the chair because I'm going to get bed sores if I'm not careful. Oh. Things are, it's not so much the chair itself. When you sit down and there's a crease in your trousers, in your pants, that crease is digging into my legs over 6 hours or whatever it is we're saying it's been. Next comment. Like I said, who was that? That was Ivan. I would have deported me, mate. I absolutely would have deported me. Yeah. I have no ifs or buts. There's no... Here's a sign of nature, here we go again. People funding this system that entraps imprisoned you all need to say no to paying bills. More of us than them. Yeah, maybe. We are due for certain countries are due for an uprising where our representatives haven't been representing. They can't carry on ignoring the people for too long. Now, I'm merging multiple issues, I know. But people funding the system. My main entrapment here is my bank. I have fucking money. Thousands of pounds in the bank. Not a lot of thousands, but enough thousands to fly me out of here, let me pay for an apartment or a flat for 6 months, and to set up a business and start myself up with something. Maybe 6 months. I'm a little bit, you know, prices and things are, I'm a little bit behind with, a little bit out of touch with. But I have money. Should give me options, should let me get going. The main thing that's imprisoning me is Santander Bank not letting me be me. In order to protect the account holder's money, we're not going to let the alleged account holder have his money. All right. In the 3 years that I've been claiming to be the account holder, how many times has the actual account holder been in touch with you? What's that? Never. No, because that's me, you cunt. I'm the account holder. Give me my money. Give me a system in which, let me walk into a lawyer and show him a copy of my passport and have him say, yes, this man has a passport in that name and the picture is definitely him. He is that man. A lawyer, a notary public, a police station, a court or a judge. They all accept that I'm me. Can they not tell Santander that I'm me? And get Santander to send me a fucking bank card and I just need a bank card, don't I? A debit card. And I'm away. Release my funds and give me a card. That's all it needs. With that, I get a lawyer. I straighten everything out this side. We sort out whatever needs to be sorted with immigration, border control, whatever you want to call them when you leave the country. If I can get that sorted in advance, so that when I buy a plane ticket and I'm going to be on that plane, at the minute, if I bought a plane ticket, I might get arrested at the airport because warrant, maybe 50-50, who knows, yes or no. But even if no warrant, oh, you're trying to leave the country. How long you been here? More than 90 days? Let's drag him into a dark room. Oh, you're going to miss your flight. Okay. I paid for that flight, now I've got to pay for another. And what? Wait 2 days for a flight. Or pay over the odds in the airport. If you buy a flight at the airport, 10 times as much. Don't know, folks. Don't know. And be happy to own nothing. That's the World Economic Forum. People will own nothing and be happy. Basically meaning that they're going to rent you everything. You want a car? Get it on HP and pay a monthly fee. You want the heating on in the car? You want the seat warm? BMW and Mercedes want you to pay a monthly fee for the heating. We only need it 3 months of the year. No, it's annual. Okay. So 12 months of the year I'm paying a fee for a heated seat that I only need for 3 months of the year. Okay, yeah, no, fuck you. Glamping with no site fees. There is this is true. It's like the Truman Show. They all comment on Facebook which street he's heading down. I guess. Oh, here we go. Your name is copyright to the crown on your birth certificate. So you're committing a crime using it each time. Find me someone who's ever been fined or charged for committing that particular bit of copyright abuse. Hope none of them become homeless. The people in charge, yeah. Corporate greed is increasing homelessness. It is. They're snapping up all the property everywhere and increasing rents. London is owned by Russian oligarchs. And oligarch is just a fancy word for cartel, if you didn't know. Silver Bullet, interesting handle. Have we met before? Evening House, Spain. Spain's nice and warm tonight. There's a breeze, picks up every now and again, but it's nice. Let me see if I can find you a temperature. It's going to be above 20 because it's always above 20. What's that? Okay, that's that. It is currently 27. 1 o'clock in the morning nearly. 27 fucking degrees. And the breeze is warm. So the breeze is even warmer than the vocabulary. The air around me. I had a better word in mind and I couldn't get there. I hate it when that happens. Fuck. I haven't got it. I'm not going to get it. 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'll have that. I guarantee I will have that fucking. It will be. Fuck, that's what I should have said. That's the word. Stop looking for it and it will appear immediately. Andy, hello again. The lens. It's bizarre, isn't it? I wonder if I've dropped it on the floor. I can't see how. Give us a second, folks. Sorry if you end up with a bit of darkness. I have. Look, it's there. I can see it. Hold on. Look at that. How have I? Oh, actually, I thought I would have memorised where it was and it would have been easy to recover, but I need. Here we go. The actual reflection. So for anyone who doesn't know, I broke my glasses a couple of weeks ago. No, 3 or 4, maybe a month ago, something like that. I was walking into the tent on a windy day. The fabric of the door was blowing around my feet and the bedroom door was blowing around my middle. One tripped me up, the other stopped me putting my hands out to catch myself, and I face planted onto the bed and bust my glasses all over the place and lost. Yeah, it was all shit. My friend Karen and family, they bought me a new cheapo pair of glasses, I hope cheapo pair of glasses, from a Poundland type Chino Bazaar, they call them over here. Chinese, bricks and mortar Temu, yeah, but without the quality control that a Temu would have. They're not quite the right prescription, and so I'm using the lens from the old one sometimes, like just to let me see the small writing, like the time and the number of thumbs ups, which are woefully inadequate, folks. What are we doing? 16 people here, and you're probably not even the original 16, and only 12 thumbs ups. Am I that unentertaining? Really? And I was about to say cheers to all of you that have done the thumbs up thing. I'll give you 30 seconds to reconsider your life and your options, and then I will say cheers to the ones that have hit the button. So if you're here and you haven't hit the button yet, you need to rethink your life. Otherwise, you're not going to get a. I hate to say to get cheersed. I hear Americans and Canadians say this, and it just toasted. You get. We will have a toast to those who have hit the thumbs up. You got to get your words right. Words are important. You can't just make up. I cheersed him or them. No, you didn't. You toasted them, or you had a toast in their honour. That number's not rising. Okay, folks, in 3, 2, 1. Cheers to those of you that have hit the like button. I got you. Beer is starting to get a bit warm. 27 degrees warm. Thank you. One of you just snuck in right at the end there. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, folks, where are we? Stop looking for it. It will appear. You helped. You helped me. I had to just think it has to be here somewhere, and as if by magic, the shopkeeper appeared. Mr. Ben, I believe. Parliament Street and fancy dress shop. Americans don't call it fancy dress. Can't remember what they call it. They don't say fancy dress. And they're incapable of sticking to a theme. You would think that like Halloween should be all ghosts and ghouls and freaks and fools, rent a ghost. But no, as soon as it's a costume party, that's their term, they're away with any costume ever. They don't stick to a theme. Weird. As Rachel Zegler would say. Campari advert, Lorraine Chase. Campari. Was it? I remember Joan Collins and Leonard Rossiter with Cinzano, and it would always end up down her front. The Lorraine Chase, I only really remember from Luton Airport. Ooh, ooh, Luton Airport. That's interesting. Criminal offence to spend over 1,000 euros and banned altogether in Germany. My mum and dad, you know, you hear about people buying a house for cash, and most people take that to mean no mortgage, bank transfers, but they're buying it outright, no mortgage, no loans. My mum and dad got a shopping bag and went to the bank and got £34,000 and then walked through the streets carrying £34,000 in order to go to the solicitors and buy a house for cash. Had to arrange it days in advance. You can't just walk into a bank and ask for thousands and thousands. They don't have that much in. But they arranged it in advance and then walked through the fucking... I said about my dad being in the parachute regiment. He was that kind of guy. That kind of, you wouldn't mess, even though he was only 5'8". 5'8". Don't ask me that in metric. 5 foot would be 150. Hold on, that'd be 150 centimeters. The 8 would come out as 2.5, 20. 170, maybe 173, because there's that 0.4 that you always, that 0.04 you always forget about. What did I come with? 174 centimeters, maybe. For those of you that are metric folks, it's an approximation. Look it up yourself with Google. 5'8" into centimeters or meters. Probably whatever I said, 1.74. That's my guess. You can tell me how wrong I am. I could look it up on the tablet. I'm too lazy. In Spain, it's illegal to do all this with cash. Maybe system is not to help you, so won't ever deport. I've wondered about that. I've wondered why they don't deport me. I would make a life there if I was in your shoes. I can't get a job. I'm not registered with the tax authorities. I'm not in any of the medical system. I'm not in any of the government systems except for the court system. Making a life, there's no, as far as I know, there's no way for me to turn around now and try and like legitimize my position here. To go off and try and become a resident, to get my residencia and my, I was going to say NIE, but it's TIE now for Brits. I don't think there's any way to do that, and even if I did do it, what would I do here? I don't speak Spanish. I've tried, and I seem incapable of learning it. I've got a long list of words. I've got quite the vocabulary for reading, but I can't hear it. I certainly can't construct sentences out of it. I've got certain rote phrases that I can adapt slightly and add and tweak words, change this for that, you know. Puedo obtener una whatever. Can I get, can I obtain, can I, you know, puedo, I can get this, I can get that, can I have this, can I get that? Certain little phrases like that. But they're little childish, little silly phrases. I'm never going to learn the language. So what am I going to do out here? Even if I was legit, I would struggle to find work. Okay, I speak English. That's a plus. So do most Spanish, apparently. So where's my advantage? They've got Spanish and English. I haven't. What would I do? How would I make an income? How would I live? Also, I'm in my mid to late 50s. I haven't got that long left work life, and I'm not in the system here. I'm not pensionable. No, I don't see that ever working. I don't know where I would go with any of that. MPs are not your best friend. I can agree with that. Money in your bank isn't... Oh, you are a real conspiracy theorist, aren't you? Money in your bank isn't yours because you deposited it, hence deposit account. You need to learn about conversion. Conversion is like theft. Theft, somebody takes something from you unbeknownst to you. They take it from you. Conversion is where you give something to somebody under one expectation. I lend you my lawnmower, okay? And I'm expecting to get it back later today or tomorrow at the latest. And you keep it and never give it me back. It's not theft because you didn't take it from me. But it is conversion. I lent it to you under a certain expectation and you kept it. Have a look up conversion. In most jurisdictions, I don't actually know about the UK, but in most jurisdictions that's a thing. And to be fair, most of the Western world's legal shit comes based from Britain. Common law in the old days and ancient practices and things. So conversion is where they haven't taken it from you, they haven't stolen it, but they're trying to make out it's theirs now and they're not going to give it you back. Conversion. Same, you put your money in your bank expecting one set of outcomes. If they just fucking take it, close the account and keep it, that's conversion. It's a crime. Also, did you know you find money in the street and just keep it? That's theft. Theft by finding is a thing. You have to make legitimate, reasonable attempts to repatriate any property that you just find to get it back to its owner. Take it to a police station, hand it over, and they can notify people, spread word around, have newspaper articles put out, and if it's not claimed within 3 months, 6 months, whatever the rule is, they'll hand it back to you because you've made reasonable attempts to repatriate it, to return it to its real owner. But if you just find it in the street and pick it up, theft by finding, it's a thing. Can you pay it all into my account? I can't do anything with my money. I can't. They've closed the account, they declared the account dormant, closed it, and said that the only way to access it is to stand in my branch in the UK. And I've got this thing where I can't leave the country easily, and yeah, no. You know the score, society is a scam. Government and the laws they've laid down might be scam. Community and society are one of mankind's greatest inventions. From about 10,000 years ago. I guess we started agriculture, which allowed us to start cities, because people over here could pay people out there to make stuff and bring it in, and they could also set up a market where people can come and do the exchanges. You pay a fee to enter the city to go to the market, whether you're a trader or whether you're the buyer. And yeah, cities and agriculture kind of go hand in hand. You couldn't have a city before you had specialist people who were just farming, people who were doing agriculture. Before that, everybody had to make their own all the time. Cities would have been a real luxury, a real burden on mankind. Alexander, hello. Are you the same Alexander that was asking about, what were you asking the other? Oh, it was about showing up on Google Maps. Is that you? How come you don't get any mosquitoes or bugs flying around your camp when using lights and stuff? We do. I got a zapper here though, yeah? Did you see this? I got my zapper. Earlier, I had about a dozen flies. When I did the TrampCast earlier, six hours ago, whenever the hell that was, I had about a dozen flies around my ankles, all sorts of bites and shit from the vampiric little bastards. And that was with a 50,000 volt fly zapper between my legs. I got a fly on my knee just now that you ask. But I do see little flies on the light, on the main light here, on the little lantern every now and again. And I will, if I can, I'll reach out and just squash the little buggers. The zapper hasn't zapped for a while. It fell over in between the one show and the next when we did TrampCast proper, and I was waiting to go live with this Hangout. It fell over and went zap, zap, zap. And I don't think it was on a fly or anything. I think it's probably, it's probably just bent a little wire. Let me get my coffee. This coffee will be going cold by now. How long have we been on? Only an hour and a quarter. Not hot, but warm. Warm still. Twice. Fucker's leaking on me, and I put double chocolate. So it's sugar, coffee, one spoon of each. 1 sugar, 1 coffee. 2 spoons of drinking chocolate, and I've just slopped it all down my fucking front, and I don't know how I've just slopped it down my front. The lid, the seal around the lid, the gasket around the lid mustn't be, but I thought I'd compensated by pressing my lip in tight. I might have to wash my t-shirt again. Definitely leaking from around the sides. It's not me, folks. You'd think that with a mouth this big you couldn't miss, but I assure you, I managed. Now you couldn't have seen that. If I'd not shown you, you would have never known. That's how open and honest I am with you guys. Kevin says, Santander robbing bastards. We need to get one prominent person on social media to highlight your plight, Mike. The bank would hate the publicity and release funds to, yeah. I thought that, so I tried reaching out to financial journalists. I thought my story might, you know, catch on with financial journalists. Instead, about 9 months later, I get contacted just by some a scandal mongering journalist, not a financial journalist, just someone probably wanting to make me look like the butt of the fucking joke. So I fucked him off. They'd go digging around trying to find my family and trying to find the, you know what I mean, and just try to embarrass everyone. No, I don't trust you. If I would have been contacted by one of the financial journalists that I contacted, or by someone who said they were operating in their name because of my inquiry, I would have responded. This was just some scum trying to dig up dirt, and the story would have probably come out at, look at these embarrassing Brits making Britain look bad to the world. Probably. That was the sense I got from the person and articles they'd done in the past. I wasn't having that shit. An actual, you know, if Martin Lewis or someone like that, you know, money saving expert, if someone like that or one of the guys I'd contacted approached me, yeah, go for it. Just some random fucking journalist who's looking to make me look like the biggest cunt on earth. No. You're a wise old owl, that's for sure, Mike. I don't know about wise. I object to old. Charge Google for your image rights data. You're on Google Maps. Yeah, I saw that. If you do it from the main road, from the top road and look down, you can see me. If you use the Google Maps thing on Street View and you come down this side street, suddenly I'm not there. But they claim it's the same year, 2023, wasn't it? I know in the 2 years ago, I saw myself on, I saw my tent on either Google Maps or Street View. Basically, they're probably sharing the same data set, aren't they? It's just interesting that from the main road looking this way, I'm on there. But if you come down the side street, navigate down the side, down this track, the field's empty, and yet they're claiming it's the same period. It's not. Their driver didn't come down the road 1 year. So when you come down the road, they're showing photographs from a previous year when it was empty. I'm sure of it. I'm going backwards. Government and corps have made it into a scam, perhaps. Society, I guess. Government. America's worse for this because of, what do they call it? When companies pay people, lobby. I was half explaining it and I explained it to myself and I got there. Lobbyists. That's corruption. Hey, we'd rather that you vote this way, Senator. And if you do, the people I represent will fund your next election campaign to the tune of X million. Oh, okay. Now I pay my wife X million to assist with my campaign next year. Oh, okay. In what way did you not just take their money in exchange for a vote and pay it to you and your wife? What the fuck? Or some other family members. Son-in-laws and daughter-in-laws seem to be all the rage. Highest level of corruption. Any company that wants to pay election contributions should have to pick a side. This, two people go against each other. Senator A and Senator B standing for election for the same area, and some company comes along and pays both of them. Whoever wins, let's Coca-Cola want a factory building somewhere and they want the planning rights, or the, you know what I mean, they want it to go ahead. They pay this guy and they pay this guy. They have an election, Coca-Cola wins. Doesn't matter which one of these two guys wins, Coca-Cola wins. Fuck that shit. Pick a fucking side. Gamble, you bastards. You want to fucking pay millions, pick. You paying him $1 million or him $1 million? You're not going to pay them both and win either way. The whole idea of giving any money at all is just fucking corruption to me. There was an MP in Britain, British MP, got elected and started exposing all of the free gifts that suddenly start arriving from companies with no prior solicitation. They don't say, hey, we like your vote, here's £500 worth of whatever, plane tickets, train tickets, whatever, coffee, whatever. They don't you're the MP now. Free gifts just start arriving. And then they want something a little bit down the line. And you're supposed to remember, oh, these are the guys that sent me £1,000's worth of coffee or drinking chocolate, or, oh, now they want a factory. Oh, okay. Fuck off. Corruption. And there was one MP, I don't remember who it was, but one MP immediately upon being elected just started listing this shit out in public. And basically saying, everything I got and that I've told you about, all these other fuckers, the other 649 MPs, I think there's about 650, 652, 653, whatever. All these other MPs that haven't told you about it, they all got the same shit. It's corruption. MPs are paid a fucking good salary and expenses and second house living allowances if they live far enough away from London. They're paid a fortune so as to be incorruptible. That was the idea. That drives me balmy. Moving on. Was I going backwards or forwards? I think I was going backwards. You're same one, you are the same Alexander, okay. In an ideal world, where would you like to end up? An ideal world with realistic limitations, or an ideal world, Pamela Anderson's bed maybe, I don't know. George Best with all the millions spread out and he's shagging Miss World and the guy walks in. Where did it all go wrong? Where did it all go wrong, Mr. Best? That's an ideal world. If you want a realistic ideal world, I got to get back to Britain. I got to get access to my money and I've got to start rebuilding a life, start a new business. I've basically used up my retirement these last few years, the years before I became homeless. I knew, and I always said all along, by the time I get to retire, there probably won't be an old age pension. The retirement age for me, for my age, is currently set to be something like 72, but they're not going to let that stand. Now that they've started messing with it, they're going to mess with it every couple of years. It's going to become 74, 76. It's going to be almost 80 if a government pension exists at all. I don't have any other set aside savings or investments or pensions or no private pensions. So I got to start a business and get a move on, get some money in the fucking bank. For my old age, or be just a company owner with people running around generating an income for me. That sounds manipulative and wrong, but that's kind of how business is. You pay someone 20 or 30 grand a year you want them to be bringing in 50 for you, don't you? You're not just giving money away. I was a little soft with my own business. I actually ended up earning less by expanding my business. I never earned more than when I was a sole trader. Employing other people cost me money overall. Plus the offices and all the other gubbings that go with it. But I never made I never made more money than when I was just a sole trader. I'm too out of touch with that now. I couldn't go back to that same industry, I wouldn't have thought. There'd be a whole new learning process for whatever technologies have come out and developed since. But I've got the experience of having run a business, marketed myself to people. Strong-armed isn't the right word, but fronting up to people and saying, when they're saying, oh, someone else offered to do this for me for $2,000, and I'm like, go with them then. But if you pay me 10 grand, I'll be bringing you 50 grand a year in more than they do. Is it worth it to you or not? And that kind of negotiating, that kind of marketing yourself and giving the strong selling point, I've got experience of that now. I didn't have that way back. I got the business brain. I can write good marketing materials. I can market myself. I can come up with phraseology and words that sell and that work. I'll find a way to make a living somehow, but I am going to be working till death. I'm not going to be, it's not like, oh, I'm 60 now or I'm 65 now, kick back and relax. This was my retirement, basically. This was my years of unproductive life. And when I get back, I've got to get my skates on and get some money coming in. And it has to be something that I can either carry on doing into late life, or I can pay somebody else a lot less to do than it, it has to bring in more than management or staff that I put in place to do the doing. So an ideal world, I don't know what that would be. I have a half a dozen half ideas for businesses. I don't know, folks, I don't know. There is no ideal. Pamela Anderson's bed, maybe, like I said, but even then she's getting a bit old, isn't she? She's hit the wall, maybe. I'm going backwards, not forwards. Look up bail insurance, maybe. Don't know. Private English teacher off the books. Even an English teacher has to be able to communicate in Spanish to some extent. Thought about the intercambio, they're called, where two people informally teach each other. I meet someone who's Spanish that wants to learn English, I'm English, want to learn Spanish. There's this thing, interchange or exchange would be a direct translation of intercambio. Interchange, literally. Cambio is change, like cash change, but also to change clothes and things. Cambio, cambia, whatever. Intercambio. You still need to be able to fall back on the other language for when someone doesn't understand something. You gotta find a way to communicate whatever's missing. I thought about learning formally the like the what's it called, English as a second language, TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language. Yeah. I read some reading materials. I read some materials about that once upon a time and I was fucking baffled. My one weakness, probably in education, is English language. I know what a noun and a verb is, I know what an adverb is and what an adjective is. Past perfect tense, what the fuck's that? or future. I don't even know if these are things. Future. I'm sticking two words together that are language related. I don't know what these things are. Once you get past noun, verb, adverb, adjective, pronoun. Once you get past those, I'm lost. To me, there's past, present and future. Anything else is just dicking about. But apparently not. You can talk about the past as like an ongoing thing. Or you can talk about a one-off, we did that. On Thursdays, we always used to do this. And that's like an ongoing past thing versus last week, we did that. And apparently those are different tenses. Maybe, if I've explained it right. I don't know, because so I looked at teaching English as a foreign language, and it turns out I don't know enough English to teach it, to structure it. Never taught this shit. Gerund or gerund, how do you pronounce that? And do you know what it is? These are the ing words. Running, jumping, skipping, talking. Those ing words. I don't even know what, I've read the word. You see, this is, never take the piss out of someone that mispronounces a word. It probably means that they read it and they've never actually heard it spoken. So tell me, gerund or gerund? Have you heard it before, or have I just introduced you to a new concept? I didn't know it. I still don't. I've only ever read it. I don't know how it's pronounced, whatever. No idea. I'm going backwards still. Soul mining. We're soul mining, Steve. Oh, you see, I thought it was that other guy. You're Steve. Maybe. Joanne's in the house. Hello, Joanne. See, I read your name first time and thought you were Dutch, and it was Johan. But you're Joanne. Sorry about that. But you're here in the house, and I welcome you. I don't know how far behind am I? Let's say 40. That says 12, almost, that's 49. And it's currently 24. I'm 35 fucking minutes back. But then I am working backwards, so you know. Leave the country, get bus, train, northern France, catch ferry. Once you leave Schengen, you're passport control. You're alright across borders within Europe. Once you get to France, or go to Gibraltar and try to leave to go to Britain, passport control. Because of the way they've structured things with Schengen. So you might escape the immediate Spanish control. But once you try and leave France, computer says no. Except the computers aren't as integrated yet as they should be, so maybe, possibly. The other option is get to northern France and get a canoe or a rubber dinghy. Or climb aboard somebody else's rubber dinghy. It wouldn't mitigate the Spanish. I mean, I wouldn't be dealing with Spanish border police, but they cooperate. Once you're trying to leave Schengen, it's okay. I've seen this comment, so I'm back. I'm on territory that I know. How come you don't get mosquitoes? Yeah, okay. I'm moving forward, back down to the bottom. I've gone a bit too far. Just moving back to somewhere good spot. Okay, Alexander, good spot. I saw that. You're a wise owl. Okay, I'm here. I'm roughly where I left off. Roughly. The whole lobbying thing is a proper dodge. It is. It's entirely should just be made illegal. If you wanna lobby, hey, Mr. MP. We're a business in your constituency, and I'd like to talk to you about it, and we'd like this. This is the outcome we like. Talk to an MP. tell them what you want, and the other side say what they want, and the MP fine, talk away. But hey, MP, we want this. Here's an envelope. Here's a check for your campaign. Get the fuck. That's a bribe. That's a bribe. There's no other fucking word for it. Well, there probably are synonyms, but it's a bribe. We all know it. We all know it when we see it and when we hear it. It's a fucking bribe. Why is it allowed? If you fancy a good read explaining the system factually, Baron David Ward on Google. I shall make a note of that tomorrow when I watch back. And here we go. Lord Gilmour, 1960 letter, proves our sovereignty. We kind of disagree on some of this, like sovereign citizen, free man of the land stuff. I don't think you can just opt out of the government society, the system. You're under them. Get over it. 67 it is. I have 2 years to go. It's 67 for someone your age. For someone my age, it's 72. The last I checked or heard. Or it was planned to be 72 maybe. I've been away a while. And it will now... So, from 1946, whenever the welfare state was set up, until 2000 and something or other, the number was immovable. It was 60 for women, it was 65 for men. And then they decided, you know what, we can play around with these numbers. Nobody ever has, but we have a budget every year and we can change that. And now they know they can change it. Literally every budget, they're thinking, have we left it long enough yet? Can we change it again? Can we change it for this group? These guys are too close. He's only 2 years away from the retirement. If we move his by 2 or 3 years, he's going to raise bloody hell. We're not going to mess with his. But those guys that retire in 10 years, maybe we can make that 12 years or 13 years. We can move theirs. They're not going to complain so much because it's in the distance for them. And now every year, every time they sit down, twice a year, the budget and the autumn statement, do they call it? Which is basically a half-year mini budget. Every one of those, it's up for grabs. They're looking at it thinking, have we left it long enough? Yeah, we changed that 2 or 3 years ago, but, well, maybe not now, but maybe in a year or two we can have a revisit of that. And they're thinking it all the fucking time. They want to move the retirement age back. And, I'll be honest, to a point, kind of agree with them. When the welfare state and the pension was implemented in 46, 48, whenever these things came into being, you were expected to live to be like 67 or 68. You were going to get like 3 or 4 years of pension, and then 90% of you were going to be dead. Now we all live to 82. Retiring at 65 and having 17 years of pension, that was never the intention. And we've lowered the birth rate. There aren't enough kids coming along. There's not going to be enough workforce to pay for everybody. The burden, more old people living longer, being on pensions longer, while there are fewer working age people to pay into the pot. That's where they went wrong. In the first instance, it was robbing Peter to pay Paul. Tax these guys, tax national insurance, and that's the money that goes out. It should have started that way, but they should have phased it into a funded pension. They should have been investing on behalf of the country into stock markets and bonds and gilts and whatever other fucking payment instruments there are. Instead of just the money that we take in taxes this year pays the pensions. There should have been siphoning initially 10% of it, 20% of it, 30% of it off, a growing amount over time, to build up a national pension fund invested in the stock market. They never did it. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then telling everyone that we're overpopulated, there's too many people on the planet, we should have fewer people, don't have children. And now there aren't. Look at Japan. Look at Japan. Demographic time bomb's already gone off. And they're young. Can I even say this? Their young men are all sat at home pulling their plonkers over raunchy cartoons. They don't want women. They're too busy taking care of themselves, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Japan are an incredibly old population. They're stacked. Everyone's living to be 90, nearly. And the young, there aren't many of them because they already cut the birth rate 20 or 30 years ago. So there aren't many of them. And the ones they've got are too busy masturbating instead of having sex with women. There's no more babies. What's their solution? Migrants. They could have put tax incentives and financial incentives and a child allowance and more medical care. There's all sorts of incentives they could have done to encourage boy meets girl and nookie, and we'll look after you, and government, and it's important that we have more Japanese people. No, immigrants. Let's import foreigners because we need people. What the fuck? How is this happening worldwide? I have a theory. I have said it before, I think, and it's a bit out there. I think we've been invaded by aliens. Radical take, I know. But if you were aliens and you wanted to take over Earth, what would you do? You would sow the seeds of discontent. You would, over a period of 100 or 200 years, assuming that you're aliens that have got a bit of time on your hands and can wait, don't go invading and having wars and destroying the planet. Just tell everybody that there's too many people on the planet and that they shouldn't have children. Get the people that are there to masturbate over silly cartoons instead of boy meets girl. Job done. 2 or 3 generations later, there's nobody here. The architect, David Vincent, in the 1960s, he knew they were here. He knew. He tried to tell us. For him, it began on a lonely, what is it, a lonely dirt track after a wrong turn late at night, and he saw the alien saucer land. It's a TV program, The Invaders, starring Roy Thinners as architect David Vincent. But I'm kind of sort of pseudo-serious, folks. Why is it that the same plan is being implemented worldwide? Cutting birth rates and importing foreigners. Why is sperm counts why are sperm counts falling worldwide? I think I'm onto something. I think it's the aliens. I think they're here. What do you think? I'm going to go at the bottom. I'm going to go at the bottom quickly. The gift of storytelling you have in abundance, Mike. I don't really. This lies behind brand building, brand story. I guess a little bit. I'm better on paper than I am at articulating in speech. Okay, I read that as creative lies. It was creative skills, but I guess Freud would have a field day at my Freudian slip, the way I misread that. Um, Such skills will be key in a world of AI. Alien intelligence instead of artificial intelligence. It makes you wonder, yeah. England. What is the deliberate spelling with an I? What's this? It's almost like the football where England has 3 syllables. England, England. 3 syllables instead of 2. Old English. Old English ings. Oh, ings, the gerund or gerund form of words. I'm outside the system, not registering to anything. What do you do if you suddenly need hospital? What happens if you get a broken leg? There's truth in the esoteric law stuff, but it's tricky to implement, and one wrong move and they've got you. Legal etymology is a fascinating rabbit hole. And yeah, well, so I watch a few American lawyers, and have you heard about Lawyer Dog? Lawyer Dog with a W, D-A-W-G. Guy gets arrested, and you know that their Fourth Amendment, I think, is the right to have representation and to see a lawyer, and the Fifth, to not incriminate yourself and all that. After you ask for a lawyer, they're not allowed to ask you questions. They can make statements to you, and if that somehow compels you, if you feel compelled to start saying no, so they'll tell you a falsehood and then you correct them. I didn't do it, he did it, or whatever. That's not, as long as they didn't ask you a question. But if they ask you a question after you've asked for your lawyer, but before the lawyer arrives, inadmissible. But at what point have you asked for a lawyer? So this guy, what would you call him? I'm trying to think of a euphemism. He's of a rapper persuasion. Urban. Urban is the word nowadays, I'm told. You know where I'm going. The man has a deep tan. Hey, dog. I want a lawyer, dog. Has he asked for a lawyer or not? And this was a major, this went to the, I think this went to the Supreme, maybe not the US Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court within his state. Has he asked for a lawyer? I want to see a lawyer, dog. There's no such thing as a lawyer dog. No dogs are lawyers. Was literally what they ruled. And therefore the police, who had carried on asking questions and he had incriminated himself, him and his lawyer were pushing to have this thrown out as inadmissible. Fruit of the poison tree. Poison? Poisoned? Poisonous? Whatever the wording is. That. But he'd asked for his lawyer, dog. But has he asked for a lawyer? And they come up with no. He hasn't asked for a lawyer. He asked for a lawyer, dog. There's no such thing. Therefore, the police were free to carry on interrogating him, and all the incriminating answers he then gave stood. The law is basically a word game. I've said this many times. The law is basically a word game. Somebody has something they want to make illegal. Somebody else writes up some verbiage, some words that they think is going to cover that situation. And then the first person who gets charged with that case, you start arguing, haggling about the meaning of words. The intention of the law versus the wording of the law. Does this word mean that? Can it be interpreted like... Is this comma in the wrong place? If that comma wasn't there, does that change things? When you have a list of things, this is an interesting one, if I say so myself. If you have you are not allowed to own a tank, an atom bomb, a 20-inch caliber machine gun, or any other weapon. What does any other mean? Am I allowed a butter knife? What about a penknife? When you have a list like this in law, in most places, in most jurisdictions, the words any other have to be taken in context of the rest of the list. So it doesn't mean like penknife or butter knife or a fishing hook. You weren't allowed an atom bomb or a tank or a warship or any other has to be judged in context of the other elements within the list. It has to be of a similar proportion, a similar magnitude, a similar context. Yeah, I found that the plain English meaning would just mean no weapons, any other, just nothing. But no, it has to be in context of that. The law is a word game, and you can stand there and argue about the meaning of fucking words and about, did they really intend that? I was just saying, you can argue about the meaning of words and about even punctuation. Did the people who framed this law intend this comma to be there, or was this just added by the word processing clerk, by the typist? Maybe that's an accident. If we can lose that comma, maybe we'd reverse the meaning of a sentence, or words like and or, and nor and never and shall not, should not, and must not. This is the highway code. You should not do this means that you can do it in some contexts. You shouldn't in general, but maybe you can find an edge case where you can. Must not means that. Must means you must not, you will not. That is wrong. But should not is open to interpretation. It's a fucking word game. It's like a parlor game. Moving forward, only jump into legal when it benefits me, then jump back into lawful. Oh, the whole legal, illegal, lawful, unlawful. What's the difference between lawful and illegal? Illegal is a poorly bird. Illegal. Things are either lawful or not lawful. Laws don't talk about things being illegal. Legal appertains to the profession, means related to the law profession, to lawyers. Legal, the legal industry, legal books, legal whatever. Things are either lawful or unlawful. No act of Parliament, the actual laws, the statutes that are coined, they should never refer to illegal. They will say this is unlawful or contrary to law. Then illegals are different. Illegal is a bird with a broken wing. With that sound nature, I'm living it. No bills. Accepting for value. Don't get that one. I've been dipping into law on and off for years, but not used anything to escape bills yet. Would like to try, take on the council tax. I think some people have withheld portions of it. Let's say that the roads aren't maintained or the bins weren't emptied for a month. There are some people that have withheld portions of their council tax, and I think that's been held to be allowable under certain circumstances if you can justify it. I'd have to look into it further, but that's kind of my memory. I'm coming up on 2 hours, look folks. You will own nothing and be happy, or you will be sent for re-education. Re-education, this is Hassan Piker recently, if we know who Hassan Piker is. Twitch's favourite leftist asshole. Migrants are not overweight. No, they're all a fight. They're built like squaddies. They're all fighting age men who look like they're trained and are fighting age. Immigrants, not migrants. Let's do the whole. Yeah, okay. Programming, brainwashing, dumbing down equals education. Kind of. We have a major problem in education in the West. It's not just the UK or America, but in the West. Teachers teaching kids what to think, not teaching how to think. That was a story today, wasn't it? 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds sending Valentine's cards to our cultural enrichers in the hotels. Pedos or potential pedos being contacted by children with Valentine. I love you. What could go wrong? Why is that kid saying I love you and I love people from other countries? I love you. I want you to stay. I want to be your friend. I see a problem. I probably can't say any more. One day someone's going to clip all these little bits, like when I said the N-word the other week and what have you. Someone's going to clip all these, and I'm going to disappear from YouTube. Migrant, immigrant. So, what are the words we used to use? There were different words for someone who left a country and someone who came into a country. It's like import and export, but it wasn't. Immigrant and not expatriate. Maybe it wasn't immigrant. There are other words for people who leave, people who emigrate and immigrate. Maybe? Someone who goes out of a country, there's one word, and someone who comes in, it's like upload and download. People often use download for any file transfer or anything. I'm going to download it from my phone to my tablet. No. You're uploading from your phone, and your tablet downloads it. Up and down, in and out, emigrate, immigrate. I think I've got the right word. I'm not 100% sure. Because they're falling out of use. It's a very Marxist or neo-Marxist thing, changing language all the time, changing the meaning of words. Only white people can be racist because we've changed the meaning of racism, that only people who have power can be racist. It used to be anybody who said, who said that group of people are worse than this group. It used to be any discrimination on the basis of skin color or whatever other factor you want. That was racism. Now it's only racism if it's between two people and one has the power of the system on their side. Fuck off. Stop changing the meaning of words. I grew up with words that meant a certain thing, and I'm going to carry on fucking using words like they mean a certain thing. You don't get to dictate fucking words. Education again, see? Universities were captured first. Then the universities educate the teachers, and they educate the journalists, and they educate the lawyers, and they educate the MPs, and the HR departments, and then the people go off and in the HR departments implement all this shit and make choices about who to recruit and what views are allowed and what aren't, and who gets sacked when they express the wrong views. And it's a mind virus that's been capturing people. Chippy, if he was here, Chipmunk would disagree with me entirely, I'm sure. But oh, old Latin in law school. There's lots of Latin in law still, and I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but I do know some. Well, you've got like mens rea. Some crimes aren't a crime if you didn't intend it, if you didn't know, if you didn't set out to do it, if you didn't have the intent to knowingly go and do that action or to knowingly go and do that crime, then it's not a crime. Mens rea, there's others. And I can't think of a single other Latin phrase right now. Pro hoc and pro hoc vice, an ad hoc something or other. Oh, those almost came in those. Pro se is to represent yourself in court. You appear pro se if you want to be your own lawyer. That's pro se. There's another one where the court takes it upon themselves to do a thing without actually being asked by either party. Oh, I used to know these things. Who knows, folks? Who knows? It's just like promissory oaths and promissory notes and promissory notes, bills and there's lots of things, isn't there? A check was a form of a promissory note, isn't the right word. And all these things, you know, when you had checks and you could cross them and write certain terms on, like account payee only and stuff, but there were other ones you could add. And I did. My business, we had a client who was a bit of a clown. And in the end, he was one of these, we should never have taken him on with hindsight. I've got an idea. It's a cross between Facebook and Amazon, and we're going to have, there'll be a portal for each state in the US, and within each state there'll be a portal for each city and each town and each county and each fucking whatever. And the project kind of ground to a halt, never went anywhere. And then he demanded all his money back and took us to court. And I made him an offer. I'll give you a certain amount if you just shut up and go away. And he said no, he wanted it all back. But he didn't want it back to the bank account it came from. He wanted me to pay it to somebody else. And this seemed like money laundering. And I wasn't going to give him all his money anyway. I was only going to give him what I'd offered as a stop the inconvenience and not go to court. And because I'd made this offer, in law, offer and acceptance forms a contract. Offer, acceptance and consideration forms. So you make an offer, I'll give you £1,000 if you just, I'll give you £1,000 of your money back if you fuck off and just shut up and go away. He says yes, and then either one of us has to take an action in pursuance of that offer and acceptance. That forms a contract. The judge held me to that, even though this guy was trying to, within half an hour of accepting, he was trying to welsh out of it and say no, and so there was some argument about whether we had what's called a meeting of minds in contract law, business law. I didn't think we did have, because he came back with an extra term after the event of paying it off to someone else, not back to where the money came from. So I thought this meant that there wasn't a meeting of minds. The judge decided, fuck it, offer acceptance, yeah, give him his money back. or give him what you offered. And so I wrote the check out. He got told off in court. As part of our dealings, we always ask, what's the legal entity that we're dealing with? Who are we charging? Who are we working for? And he named his limited company that he'd registered but never traded with, didn't have any bank account, hadn't registered directors and things properly. So I signed the check with some weird obscure thing that I'd read somewhere. So not just the account payee, but because you can sign the back of a check and endorse it and pay it off to somewhere else. I made it so it had to go specifically into that bank account of that named company. And then I chased it up with the banks to make sure it did. Took him 9 months to cash the check. He had to appoint directors that weren't disqualified. And on day one, he was in the bank trying to deposit it. And the woman behind the counter was giving all this, like, that you can't, I don't know why they've done this. I've never seen it before, but I've read about, you can't deposit this in your own bank account. This has to go into the limited company's bank account. Well, there isn't one. Oh, we'll have to go back to the guy who paid and ask him why he's done what he's done. Well, I did what I did to be an awkward cunt. And because the judge had specifically said it has to go to that company. Yeah, it was fun. I can't remember what the things were. Account payees pre-printed, I think, on checks nowadays. But there was some, where it's crossed and you've got those two diagonal tram lines, you can write various instructions inside there. And I even made my bank, once the money did get paid 9 months later, once it went out of my bank account, out of the business's bank account and off, I made my bank chase up and make sure it had gone into an account of that name. And my bank didn't want to fucking pursue it and check. What's this about? Why are you doing this? I'm like, none of your fucking business. Do as I say. Me boss man, me customer. I said, a judge gave a specific order that this payment has to go not just to that man, not just to an account he's in charge of, it has to go to the limited company named on the check, and I specified specifically non-transferable account payee only, whatever the verbiage was. I spent a week researching this shit to make sure it was airtight. My own bank gave me shit about chasing it up. Banks! I said, I have to report back to a judge whether this has been done properly, so pull your fucking finger out and make sure it's done properly. Banks. I hate them. Constitutional stuff. Sign of nature. You are a real, I'm not a civilian person, resident, etc. You find, okay, this is Oscar. I find it strange that back in the 60s, the majority of men had a visible Adam's apple. I don't notice this with the recent generations. You won't see it with me, probably. Too much fat. We're all dough boys. Not dole, but dough. We're flabby flabsters. It's jumped to the bottom. Banks are in breach of the contract that they change their terms and conditions. It's in their terms and conditions that they can change their terms and conditions. There's a general thing in business and in society at the minute that companies sell you something and then they can change the terms and conditions afterwards. The classic example was the one I gave a couple of weeks ago. Certain internet-enabled TVs, they'll change the terms and conditions, and instead of giving you a yes or no, do you accept or not, there's just an OK button, there's just an accept. And even if you turn the TV on and leave it turned off for a week, when you turn it back on, it goes straight back to that accept. You can't use your TV until you accept. If that company goes out of business, you could be left with an unworkable, unusable TV forever. totally bricked. It's a big thing at the minute with electronics, with people being able to send out firmware updates that make stuff not work. Changing the terms of a contract after the event is shouldn't be allowed. Frank, hello Frank, I didn't see you there, my friend. Frank Nadoberty, how's it going? I haven't spoken with you in a while. We should have a call in a day or two, or in the next few days. This call has been recorded for training and legal purposes, except if we want access to that call. Oh no, we didn't keep that one. Yeah, but your representative promised me the earth. No, I'm sorry, we haven't got that. We scrubbed the tapes already. All contracts are null and void. I don't know how you get there. Forms of verbal contract, offer acceptance and what was the word I said? Offer acceptance and consideration. Yeah. If I offered to dig your garden over for £100 and then I turn up and start digging, that's consideration. If you then say no, I didn't want it anymore. Tough. Fuck you, pay me. We had offer acceptance and I'm here and started. I have shown consideration. We have a contract. There was a beautiful video, probably around the time I started my business, literally called Fuck You, Pay Me, which I found really useful because a few times I used it. I did some work for some rather large companies, and you'd be halfway through the job, or 3/4 of the way through the job, and they'd come back and say, oh, we don't need that website anymore. We're merging with another company and we're rebranding and we dropped this project. So, sorry about that, goodbye. No, fuck you, pay me. Contract. We contracted to do this work and I've started and I'm halfway through. Yeah, we don't need it. Okay, that's part of your cost of doing your merger or acquisition or restructuring or whatever the fuck you're doing. You don't get to opt out of paying me just because you've changed how you're doing business or what the fuck. Literally, fuck you, pay me. I pointed some of them at the video. Always got paid in the end. My wife was genius at it. Oh, folks. See whether I can have a drink without spilling it down myself. Almost. Failed. We have new spillage. Gonna have to do something. I don't know if you can get new gaskets or something, or maybe I can put a piece of string or something in the groove. It's leaking around the edge of the cup, which I probably wouldn't mind if it was like water or something, but coffee, and especially coffee with 2 spoons of drinking chocolate in it, that's not good. I might have to give that a quick wipe tomorrow with water and maybe a bit of washing up liquid. See whether I can save myself from having to wash the t-shirt all over again. I've only just washed it last week. I'm a tramp, I live in a field. I'm not going anywhere. I don't need a clean t-shirt every day. I haven't got enough t-shirts to have a clean t-shirt every day. Which way am I going? I'm going backwards. Legalese. Hence legalese. Words are their codes. Yeah. In law, there's no racism. Well, they keep changing definitions, but you have the Race Relations Act. We have hate crimes nowadays. Hate crimes. You've upset somebody and it might have been because of, they think it might have been because of colour, religion, whatever. Hate crimes. Fuck off. What does that say? Is that law? Law, noun, traditional, not, and stories about a subject. Oh yeah, law. Not law as, yeah. Not LAW, the other law. The history of, the backstory, basically. Yeah. Frank said, evening Mike, that was him arriving however long ago that was. 1:51 and it's currently 2:07, so I'm only 16 minutes behind. I am working backwards as well though, there's more here that I've missed. Law is land, air, water. There's always Twitch. When I get banned from YouTube, yeah, start again. Go and start again all over again. Twitch. No, Twitch is evil. Kick or Rumble would be my destination nowadays. Twitch. I think Twitch is far too left for me. Although Asmongold's still there, isn't he, for now, and Tectone. They're still there hanging on. Probably not for long. But they are multi-streaming now. They're streaming across multiple platforms as protection because they know the end's coming. There's only Hassan Piker that doesn't get banned for saying ridiculous things. And because his politics lines up with either the owner or the staff. The only time he got banned was for one day on the day that he has off every week. What kind of ban is that? That's a non-ban. Oh, Kevin left. Good night, Mike. Enjoyed that. Still chuckling about the Japanese pulling. Yeah, send you a few quid. Oh, okay. Send you a few quid tomorrow. Appreciate that. You're probably not hearing this. You've gone already, but legal is man-made. Society is man-made. Everything's man-made. Civilization. People getting together, grouping together. Initially as a family group, and then as a tribal group, and then as a village, or homestead or village, and then as a town, and then cities, countries, and nation states or states, which can be an amalgamation of countries like the UK. We're kind of a block rather than a country. There's 4 countries within the state, within the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, where Great Britain is England, Scotland, Wales. A lot of people don't get the distinctions. Americans in particular struggle with the distinctions between England, Britain, and the UK. England is one of the 3 countries on the biggest island in this group of islands, the geographic British Isles as they're called. The biggest island is Great Britain, great as in big, which has 3 countries, Scotland, Wales, England. Together, so that they form Britain, or Great Britain. When added to Northern Ireland, you get the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, to give our country its full, proper, formal name. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, or UK for short. There you go. For those that didn't know, a lot of people, even British people, struggle with here we go, jus in rem, not a quasim persona. Oh, here's a big one. What's this one? Oh, okay. No, that Oscar, I read that one. So I'm back on solid territory. I know everything back here. I know everything. I've read those. There was Frank arriving. I'm moving forward again, guys. I was Karen saying hello to Frank. Karen. Banks are in breach of contract when they change terms and conditions. Arguable. Oh, is Karen leaving? Oh, how long ago? Has she gone already? I've missed it. 2:01. And it's 12 minutes past. She's long gone. Sorry, Karen. Catch you next time. I'll be seeing her in a few days. Bills of exchange. Yeah, okay. Yeah, bills of exchange and all that kind of documents. Yeah. Yeah, check is a variation of some of those earlier forms of paperwork, some of which still exist. Yeah. Frank's had a late night working on the race car. Okay. Some fool backed into your truck. You put your own, not the work one. And you're not driving anymore for work, are you? You're in a building. I forget. So you've had to replace your tail light. Not just the bulb and the glass. You had to replace the whole kit and caboodle. And yeah, okay. 2004. Oh God, I had a friend who had a Honda Accord back then. Okay. Got to make 75 laps on a dirt track. Fun. That was cool. Contracts does indeed require the meeting of minds. That's actually a legal term. Oh. Yeah. Which was why when this guy said he agreed and then came back half an hour later wanting to change the terms, I thought that meant we didn't have a meeting of minds. The judge, magistrate, decided, yeah, we did. I think I could have appealed it on the legal technicality, but it wasn't worth the grief, to be honest. I'd spent months. People down the pub were sick of me. My nephew worked for me. Me and my nephew would get off the bus halfway home and go in the pub. And people were sick of hearing us talking about this court case, about us being sued and all the grief and all the preparation, all the paperwork that was expected. Everyone was sick of hearing us talk about it. So when the magistrate insisted we pay this 1,000, which was chump change to get rid of it in the end, but it came to, like, the guy was asking for all of his printing costs, and he made a bundle like this of a copy of every fucking email and everything. He printed all of this, like 3 copies of it. He wanted his bus fare and his train fares. He wanted all of the court fees. He wanted statutory interest for the year or whatever that we'd been waiting to actually have the case. And the judge started working it out. This was the thing. The guy had been an arrogant prick. And the judge knew it. He gets halfway through calculating. He says, okay, it's 100 for this and 200 for that. And so I'm looking at 1,000 just to make it go away. And the judge starts adding up these other costs, and they're heading towards 400 or 500 fucking pounds. And then the judge says, oh no, what am I on about? Judge's discretion. No. The guy stormed out the courtroom, slammed the fucking door behind him. The judge was on the verge of picking up the phone and getting security to nab him on the way out. Yeah, the judge, I don't know whether he'd started adding it up without thinking, like as a mistake, or if he was deliberately rubbing it in. Because I'd offered 1,000 right at the start, personally, without any court case, 1,000, and this goes away. No future proceedings, you waive all rights to bring the case. That will be the end of it. And we ended up in court. And the guy was a prick about certain things during the case. And when the judge just says, 200 for this, 100 for... Okay, that's 400, 450. Oh, no. This is discretionary. No. I think he might have been doing it on purpose to wind the cunt up. He slammed the fucking door of the courtroom of the... It wasn't really a courtroom, it's more like a posh office. Big heavy wooden door though, and he slammed it. And the judge was reaching for the fucking phone. He was gonna press buttons and say grab him on the way out. Little guy, bald head, white hair at the sides. Yeah, the judge was not happy. But I guess he'd fucked him over one way, so why bother? See, the beer doesn't spill. There's a lesson there. If the lid of your coffee cup spills, stick with the beer, not the coffee. Okay, folks, where are we? I'm working forwards through the chats. I'm working forwards. Cheap fun welder kit. This is a roll cage for your banger racing kind of thing, or whatever the Americans would call it. Stock car? Is there a difference in stock car racing and banger, what we would call banger racing? Okay. Frank's friend has 3 cars he built. 3 cars he built that 2 of my other friends drive. Okay. Karen likes her car racing. Okay. When cheap cars are abundant, you can be in a race car for not a lot of cash. It's fun. Cleethorpes used to have a stock car racing circuit in what used to be, it was a zoo, and then it became like a fake zoo with plastic animals and plastic dinosaurs. You'd walk up their tail and slide down their neck like a diplodocus or brontosaurus. Do you say diplodocus or diplodocus? This was always a fun thing. And then they decided that brontosaurus never existed. We've had this conversation before. I think it was brontosaurus they said didn't exist. It did, but somebody else had already found the same animal and given it a different name beforehand. Anyway, plastic dinosaurs. I'm not going to go off on one about how 2/3 of dinosaurs never existed. We've had that conversation. I should make a note of when these radical conversations happen. I should make a note of them. But yeah, the last I heard, 2/3 of all dinosaur species never existed. So that dwarf Tyrannosaurus that had the body shape of a Tyrannosaurus but a very different head and was small. Scientists always wondered, where are all the baby dinosaurs? We can't find the babies, we only find adults. And what they were doing, when they found a small one, oh, this is a different species. This is a dwarf Tyrannosaurus, not a Tyrannosaurus. No, it's a fucking child, you idiot. Where are all the baby dinosaurs? You called it a different species, you'd have to art. No wonder you can't find babies. You find the baby or the juvenile, and you no, it's a dwarf Tyrannosaurus. It's not a Tyrannosaurus. Fuck off. 2/3 of all dinosaurs never existed. And now I'm coughing. I got to go back a bit because it's jumped to the bottom. Acts and statutes, and then common law, which is the judge-derived law, case law. An act is, hold on, is an act the proposed law, and it becomes a statute once it passes and then gets royal assent. So they're basically the same thing but different stages of the process. And then common law is all this clarification that happens in court when you argue about the meaning of words, and the first judge makes a decision one way and that becomes binding on others later, or should, if it's not at the bottom, not at the bottom level, not at the court of first instance, but appeals courts and higher courts and supreme courts, which used to be the House of Lords but now isn't. Those become binding on lower courts, from what I remember. But you've got acts, statutes. There are things before that though, because there are things from way back in history, like things like originally like murder and stuff. You didn't even have a law against it, like a statute, a written law. It's just obvious that you shouldn't be going around killing people. So that there was a word for, I guess that was common law as well as the case law. But yeah. I thought Karen went. I thought you left. Frank is glad he lives in a republic state versus a commonwealth. Yeah, some of your states aren't really states, are they? The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, there's one, I think. Treason against the sovereign people of England with an I again. You like your England with an I. I'm not quite sure the meaning, or the meaning that you're putting on it. Karen, administration, Roman Vatican courts. It was a rally waving the flag, letting spectators know the cars were coming on the bends and blowing the whistle. Really quite dangerous. People crossing the road when this car's about to come around and slam into them. Oh, it jumped again, back to the bottom. Okay, I did get I picked one that was a Commonwealth. I picked correct. And also Virginia. Why do I always think of tobacco when I hear Virginia? Isn't that a tobacco brand over it? Old Virginia. I think that's a tobacco brand. Oh, look at that. I landed right back where I left. Frank and Karen are discussing cars. You see, Spider is the name of a car, has a real history going right back to the beginning. But the older ones had a Y rather than an I. SPYD. Constitutional hierarchies of all England and Wales. Authority of imperial crown. Imperial's an interesting word. Appertaining to empire. We don't have one. Okay, folks, where are we? Thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, folks. If you're new here, and I'm guessing a few of you are. I'm seeing someone familiar names even in chat. If there's anybody lurking, if you're just watching and not saying hello, feel free, come and join us. It's wide open. There are no restrictions, no limits. I haven't made it subscriber only. We're open. Come and say hello. Oh Christ! If I can get my am I on about 9 hours so far today? I started at 6:30. 8 hours. I had half an hour off in between the original stream and this Hangout stream. Sorry, just looking through some other messages on a different thing. Okay. There's Oscar sending me an email, I think. I'll have a look at that in a bit. Okay, folks, I'm back. What kind of broadcast quality is this going out at? Is this going out at 1080 again? No, on the phone it's probably going out at 720, maybe. Oh, yesterday when I used the tablet it went out at 1080, didn't it? That was interesting. And how's the audio? There is a breeze. I have got a sponge I can put over the edge, over the microphone if you're picking up the wind. And do tell me if we've got clicks and whistles and, crap going on. You got to tell me if the audio's bad, folks. I don't know. I don't get to hear it. All clerks of court, Crown Authority were removed to the 1985 Companies Act. I don't know what that means. Golden Virginia. Indeed. Golden Virginia. See, I'm not a smokeist. I've never put a cigarette to my mouth apart from when I was 5. There's more. Okay, there we are. There's golden. England is from Old English, Angloland, land of the Angles, which would have started with an A, back in the day. The I spelling seen in Middle English variants like England reflects a historical pronunciation and isn't a modern mistake. Okay. Connecticut. I know you don't pronounce that C there. Silent C. Connecticut grew tobacco as well in the colonial days and after, driven by the drying barns. Okay. AI. Here we go. Sign of nature. Solicitors, barristers need a special license to operate. What was that? To operate outside of the inner temples of London, i.e. Bar, Guild and the City Mile. Henry VIII and the Star Chamber, maybe? Join in, folks, no judgment here. Yeah, come and say hello. We're a friendly enough bunch. I am a tramp, I live in a field, but I don't bite. Mainly because I've got no fucking teeth. Tina has just woke up and decided to drink all the water on the planet. Hey, babe. Hey. Oh, I got treats, haven't I? I got some treats out for them. Where did we go? Hold on. Just wait. Just wait. I'll show you off to the peoples. Come and say hello to the peoples. Just wait. Just unplug that for a second. See if I can turn it around. And so there's the light there, but I'll need a light here for her ladyship. Here's Tina, and here's a doggy chew. Bite it. Bite. Go on. It's a tough one. Rah! Go on. Keep going. Yes. Here's my girl. Go on. Is it too tough for you? There you go, there's a girl. You're a clever girl. You got it. You got it. Go, 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 go. One. Attack. Attacker. There you go, sweetheart. Steady, steady. Careful of daddy's fingers. There you go. There's my girl. There's my girl. Oh, you've dropped him on the floor. Covered in muck. Yeah, now you're going to just push it around and get even more muck. I'm sure it'll aid with digestion. All the minerals. Well, turn it around. Close up of Muggins's face here. Do you see the moon behind me? We had that yesterday as well, didn't we? And earlier. Okay, folks. Let me sample. Have I drunk any of this coffee yet? The second cup. This one's a better insulated and doesn't leak. That actually wasn't as warm as I was expecting. But I did make it 3 hours ago. It's a good cup. These insulated ones. This one was from my mate Karen there. From Decathlon, I think. Decathlon, I think. Let me scroll. I thought Karen was leaving. Did I misunderstand? Were you saying goodbye to someone else? I thought you were... Oh, I thought you were off. Audio's fine. Thank you, Oscar. However long ago I asked. Okay, Frank's nipping out. See your neighbour. Was it the neighbour that crashed into you? Here we go. My sovereignty rights, private security, personal libertines, private property. I read that one. How go about owning the land of one's home and not just the title? If you own the title of it, you own it, don't you? The title deeds are the record of ownership, aren't they? How would you go about owning the land of one's home and not just the title? That sounds like a tautology or a... The title deeds are just a record of ownership. Unless it's leasehold rather than freehold, maybe? Don't know. Decathlon it was, yeah, okay. Thanks, Karen. But my question, I thought you left. Did I misunderstand? I thought you'd left about half an hour ago. Andy's nearest Decathlon closed. I'd never heard of Decathlon until I came out to Spain. Have I lived a sheltered life? Is this something that's been in existence in the UK forever? Or is it a foreign thing that's only just gone to the UK after I've left the country? Oh, don't register it with the land registry, then you don't own it. The Crown can evict at any time, we think. Not without due process. Surely. Oh, except, what's that called? Where the public, like if they need to build a railway line through land and they take ownership. Americans have a different term for it. But there is that, where it's deemed to be in the public interest to take it for an alternate use. But it has to be very much the public interest. So like the HS2, when they were going to build a railway line from the north to the south and they stopped halfway. I can't remember. Compulsory purchase order. Americans have another term for it, but it's getting a little bit cool. Well, no, it's not. I'm feeling cool because I've been so hot all the time. I was saying earlier that the breeze was warmer than the air around. Now it's not. Now the breeze is that little bit cooler. I don't know how much longer we're going to go, folks. I don't know how much longer we've got. Oh, I am kind of getting bed sores. I'm getting... The nether regions are uncomfortable. Oscar's going. I'll check your email later, mate. I think it's an email you've sent, yeah? Catch you later, Oscar. Okay, folks. Am I still on... Am I right in saying this was the first can I opened when we started this stream 3 hours ago? 2:50. I'll probably call it quits on the 3-hour mark, maybe. Unless we've got some new topics to go at. I haven't got any science or technology topics to go at, I don't think. Yeah, see, this is the danger, isn't it? If you don't register land, if you don't register your ownership, then somebody else could grab it. And then you've got contesting, and then you're looking at something like something possession. What was that word the other week? We had this discussion. Adverse possession. So someone moves onto your land or property. If you're not on it and doing something with it, someone else can sit there. And if they sit there long enough, they can claim it. It has to be long though, like 10, 15, 20 years, can't remember, but yeah. There's a new ChatGPT. I haven't played with any of this AI stuff much. I played with some AI art probably about a year ago. Silly stuff. I gave the example of Conan the Barbarian, where I went with Canon the Barbarian, or Conan the Barbarian, and it's a bear. Quran the Barbarian, a little bit edgy. A leather-bound book on a horseback with a big sword. Conan the Barbarian. Big swords as scissors to cut hair. Conan the Barbarian. Lots of puns. It was all just piss take. But ChatGPT for informational purposes, I haven't used. The only thing I have used, you know, when you do a search now on Google, especially if it includes a question mark, you'll get an AI summary. So you probably don't even need to go to the websites to get the answers. What did I ask it earlier? I often ask it, is this the same as that? And it'll say, yeah, that's the one. I can't remember examples. Only for paying users. Well, that excludes me. Only for paying users. The only thing that I have any regular payment of now is my phone bill. And even that I'm thinking of reducing, except the first month would be a bit hairy, would be a bit tricky. So I said this the other day, I don't know if you're here. I pay $15 per month, and since I've started paying that, they've upped and upped and upped the amount of gigabytes that you get, and also their policies changed on how much rolls over. And I'm now at the stage where I'm paying $15 a month for an amount of gigabytes that I don't use. I've got so much rolled over. My 4 weeks, my 28 days ends on Sunday night. I haven't started using this month's allocation yet. I'm still using what rolled over. So I could probably just step down to the next package down, probably a tenner a month. But I would lose these hundreds of gigabytes that I've got saved up that roll over. And the first month I would have to be careful to stay within, to definitely stay within the allocation, to stay within the limited amount. And then things would start to build up the amount that rolls over. But I think that the next package down is more than enough. But it's my only fixed bill, I think. Can't think of anything else other than it's not a fixed bill, that's a choice. And only if people send me a donation and say either spend it on whatever you want or get booze. Who was the beer sponsor the other day? Jody M from Australia. He sent me some money and said get beer. That will have paid for this as well. So cheers to Jody M in Australia, the sponsor of the feast. Okay folks, we're on 2:56. Karen's going to bed now. I'm finishing in 4 minutes, I think. Sign of Nature still off on his legal rants. CPS is Corporate Prosecution Service. It was run by Queer Starmer, wasn't it? Queer Starmer was in charge of it when Savile never got caught. And it's still suspected that everybody knew. Okay, folks. Let's wind down. What have we got? You don't know how I still have a voice. I don't know how I do this at all. I honestly don't. I'm the quiet, shy guy. If you met me out and about, I'm the quietest bloke in the group. How I sit in front of a camera at all astounds me. How I talk online at all astounds me. I hate my voice. Or I always used to hate my voice. Is there someone in this field? Movement. Maybe. Might not be people, might just be an animal. Having said that, I don't shut up all day, says Karen. On your feet, cutting hair, hello. Have you got any nice holidays? Where are you off to next? Standard, you probably have the same conversation 20 times a day. What have you got planned? Are you going on holiday? How's work? Or how's retirement? How's your husband? Okay, yeah. All of those things. Yeah. They ask you when your holiday is. It's always your holiday. Almost always. Usually it's 2 weeks work, 6 weeks holiday, isn't it? And then go back to fit 6 weeks work into 2 weeks so that you can go back on holiday again. You're going to struggle when they implement this computer system to count the days properly. I'm not saying anymore. Okay, folks, we are on 2:59 there or thereabouts. Oh, they ask you when you got back and you don't know. We shall draw things to a close in the tradition of the channel, I think. It is 2:45 my time, 1:45 UK, 8:45 maybe US Eastern. It's all a blur, says Karen. I've still got coffee, haven't I? I'll have to finish that after we finish. Hopefully I can drink it without it falling down my front this time, because this cup doesn't leak. Folks, if you haven't already, please consider hitting the thumbs up on the way out the door. Maybe leave a comment after we end. Comment, not chat. Thank you for joining me this Friday evening, Friday night, keeping a tramp company. I hope I provided some level of discussion, entertainment. Not much in the way of levity, I don't think, but thank you anyway. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and thank you everyone for being here. We're both outside the system, living our courts, maybe. Okay, folks. In the tradition of the channel. Hey, babe. Hey. From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike. Out.